Hey, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Neek Lynn, and I help braiders take their braiding skills and turn them into business success. And in today's tutorial, I am going to be sharing with you how to do this simple and easy men's braid style. Now for my client today, we are starting out with a complete blowout. You can see the texture of his hair. It is very tight, very curly. So I need to get his hair nicely stretched out so that I can get some clean and smooth braids. So the first thing I like to do when I am offering a blowout service to my clients is I like to section out their hair, okay? The detangling process for me is very important, and I like to make sure that my client's hair is completely detangled before I go in with the blow dryer. So for this blow dryer, I'm using the Red by Kiss blow dryer. I absolutely love this blow dryer. Okay, when I tell you this attachment stays on, this attachment stays on. It's not gonna come off at all. So as you can see, I am just going into the front section. I'm parting that front section out. I'm sectioning it out because again, I'm not going to blow out his hair in like super large sections. I am going to break them down. I feel like honestly, when you break your sections down a little bit smaller, it's more comfortable for your client as you're trying to detangle. So don't try to detangle the sections and blow out the sections in too large of a section because it can be uncomfortable for the client and sometimes even uncomfortable for you. So just take your time, go through section by section. As you can see, the clear difference between the section on the right and this section on the left. This is why we ask for our client's hair to be blown out prior to the service. But if you offer this service, like again, you could see there's a clear difference. So let's talk about a few of the products that I'm going to use to complete the style. So I'm gonna go ahead in with my Neat Braid. Okay, this is a conditioning shining gel. I'm also going to use my parting comb. This is the comb I like to use to smooth. And then also I'm gonna use this spatula with my Neat Braid, and I'm not gonna put my fingers in the jar. I'm going to use the spatula to transfer the gel into a separate bowl, okay? That's definitely gonna help with like cross-contamination and things like that. Now I'm starting off in the front here to do his part, and then I work my way around the back. When I'm establishing a middle part, I am going to be back and forth. I'm always gonna stand in front of my client and then always gonna come behind my client as well, because I wanna make sure that this middle part is straight because it truly establishes the rest of the style. See me go back and forth a few times before I actually start parting out the rest of the style. It is totally okay to take your time during this part. And as you could see, I use my purple comb to smooth in my gel. So I like to use the red for parting and the purple for smoothing. Now I'm gonna start off parting out this first braid or this first section, which will become this first braid. And I'm going to work my way right up to the front of his hair. There's gonna be 5 sections on each side of his middle part. So all I'm doing is going in with a rough draft. I'm not using too much gel at this time. I'm just putting a rough draft in. Now I'm gonna go back and clean these parts up. Now, I know that some people don't pre-part, but I am really like team pre-part. If you've been watching my channel for any time, you will know that I am a pre-parter. I like to pre-part because it allows for me to see exactly what the style is going to look like and also fix anything that I want to fix prior to starting the braids. Because how many times have you done a style and you didn't pre-part and you're in the middle of the style and you're like, oh my goodness, this braid could have been a little smaller or this section could have been a little bigger. So I like to kind of get those things out of the way before I commit. So now that I'm gonna start my first braid here, I'm going to start off by parting off a small triangle at the top and then splitting that section in the middle. Now I'm gonna split this small section that I created into 3, and I'm going to do my braid movements. Now, the key when you're doing stitch braids is that you need to do a couple of braid movements before you start collecting in the stitches, okay? I like to braid 4 to 5 times before I pull in my first stitch. And then I'm gonna take my stitches and pull them in. You can go from right to left or left to right, whatever you prefer, but keep that same motion going down the rest of the braid. And now I'm gonna continue to do the same exact thing for the rest of the braids. It's no different. I am literally repeating those same movements for each and every braid. Now, there's also multiple ways to start these braids. You can start the braid with just a straight horizontal line, or you can start off in the corner like I did with the triangle. It's totally up to you. It's just personal preference. It's just something that I like to do to enhance the style a bit, but you do it in the way in which you want to do it. So now that we're to the other side, I'm just using my detangling brush to get through that section a little bit more, and I am still cleaning up the part. So again, the pre-parting does allow for me to fix the parts along the way. It's really up to you of how detailed you get with your parts, but I really do like for my parts to be clean. Now, again, I'm doing the same thing. I'm starting off with that triangle, working some gel through the middle of that section, and doing my braid movements a few times before pulling in the stitch. That is a game changer when it comes to stitch braids. And then just keeping your pace, keeping good tension control, and keeping that all the way through the braid. Last, here we are for the front braid. Now again, I could have just taken that horizontal piece, but I wanted to give the style a little bit of shape and direction, especially to fit his face structure. So I decided to follow his hairline right down on a curve, and I'm using that curvature to make the braid curved as well. And I'm pulling in my stitches the same exact way. This is a style that he loves. It's a repeat style for him. So we go between twists, these side braids. We've done, box braids a bunch of times. So he is a regular client of mine. Now I'm just gonna go in with some spritz. I don't use mousse on his hair because I don't want his hair to curl. So I just finish him off with some hairspray. I go in using the tail end of my comb just to kind of do a little detail work once I'm finished. And that is about it for his style. So guys, if you have learned anything from this video, go ahead and subscribe. We are almost at 90K. I cannot believe that we have grown to this level. It's been an honor and a privilege to be able to share with you. So if you have learned anything, go ahead and subscribe. And as always, guys, God bless, and I'll talk to you in the next one.